Julie, thank you so much for joining me on the Real Estate Success Stories podcast. One of the things I always want to do on here is give tactical how-tos, what not to do's. And the thing that I like most is starting at the very beginning. Your numbers are super impressive. You rank as high as the top 5 most productive team in your entire state across all brands in Minnesota. So that's not an easy feat, but let's start in the beginning and then work our way backwards. And I really want to unpack what your business looks like. I spend a lot of time with the top teams, and your business looks completely different. And it's something you should be proud of. I think most teams rely on third-party leads a lot, and that's not what your business looked like. So first of all, let's start on how'd you get into it and kind of like the early years, but then I want to spend the most time talking about customer service and developing a super strong repeat referral business, which is where you excel at.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. So I've been in the business for 21 years, got licensed and was in event planning before that, decided to get my license, wanted to get into real estate investing and thought might as well get into real estate as well. And got into real estate and for my first couple of years was on my own. And then I met my husband and he was also a realtor. And he had a team when I met him, like a small team and an assistant. And when we moved in together, we decided to work together and started growing the team from there. I think he had like 3 or 4 agents and an assistant when I started, and we've kind of grown from there. But yeah, we both got started doing open houses, and I had a kind of a big SOI, so open houses and tapping into my SOI. He's from Canada, had moved here from Winnipeg, didn't know a single soul. So he started with open houses and then building relationships with the people that he met from open houses. And we built our business through just really trying to deeply build relationships with people. Daniel has 2 friends in Minnesota, or 2 friends in his life in Minnesota that he met not through real estate. Everybody else that he is close to is through real estate. And I have my group of friends from high school that I'm friends with, but all of our friends, all of the people that we spend time with, we've met that they probably started out as a client of ours, and then we've become friends with them.
All right. Well, let's unpack that because there was a lot in there, and it's very common when I'm interviewing someone as successful as you that they just kind of gloss over. It's like, oh, well, we just started here. So year one, no one in the real estate industry coming from event planning. By the way, my better half came from the event planning industry, and so I think that's actually a great place to start because Ariana would plan like 400, 500 person Indian weddings and like shut streets down in DC. She once had a horse come down Constitution Avenue for a wedding at the Andrew Melling building. And I don't know that there's a more chaotic industry that prepares you to like calm people down for probably the only more emotional transaction of their life, which is a wedding, right? Where, because I would say real estate isn't the most emotional, but I've actually seen it. It's actually weddings. So what was year one? Like, was it 6 transactions, 12 transactions? What was year one of Julie? Like, I'm a realtor, I'm now doing this.
Honestly, I don't even remember because it was 21 years ago, but I think I did year one. I probably did around, 10, 15, somewhere in between 10, 15 transactions. My first transaction was a listing, which was awesome. I mean, I think most people start with buyers.
That's highly unusual. So keep going.
Yeah, it was a friend of mine's mom. So, I was at that age where either my friends were getting into buying real estate or I really I was close with people's parents and stuff. And my friend's mom had to sell her house. So I sold her house. We listed her house and she bought a house from me. And that's kind of where it started. And so I'd either just kind of tap into all the people I knew or I did a lot of time doing open houses.
And tell me how, because like so much of life is in the eye of the beholder, right? I feel that I've said for a long time, even at listing appointments, that open houses were mostly a pacifier for the seller or a lead gen tool. And again, I was 90% listing sided to buy sided when I was an agent. One, because I'm really good at standardized systems and processes and follow up. But for anyone who is a direct report to me knows it, I'm not a manager of people. I'm a leader, which means I think it's actually an excuse I use because I just don't like to manage people. But in what I do, I find self-manage people, right? And again, at the level I'm at, that's possible. But in some areas of life, you have to be able to manage and hold people accountable in a very specific way. And again, it's an excuse. I was never good at buyers, and so I just never did it. And that's okay because I was able to concentrate on the business I'm good at. And I actually tell agents, like, there is no correct way. There is no only way. It's what works for you and your family and the hours you're willing to work. But tell me about how you ran those open houses that were, specific and replicatable so you could do it over and over again.
Yeah. So, I'd pick them at the beginning of the week, and I'd try to do at least two a weekend. I'd like to stay in my open houses longer. I know that, I talked to our agents today, and some of them will do an open house for 2 hours. I felt like if I was putting the time into doing an open house, I'd rather stay there for 3 hours, get out a bunch of signs. I wish that agents put more signs out. I've put a ton of signs out. I had a lot of people that would just stop
Quantify
at
a
me.
ton of signs. Quantify a ton of signs.
15 signs.
Wow. Okay. 50, 50.
15,
Oh,
sorry. No, 15. I have agents that are like, I put 5 signs out, and they think that that's a lot of signs.
yeah. No, I'm with you. That's why I wanted to quantify it.
No, 15, 16, just getting out signs on all the major roads. Um, I think that, like, the thing that helped me be like good at the open houses was really getting confident about the listing. So when you start out, you don't have a lot of listings. So I would make sure that I really researched the listings that I was holding open. I always do best if I'm confident going into a situation. So if I was sitting in an open house where I didn't know enough about the open house, I feel like I didn't do a good job. So I learned that I needed to be really confident about the area, about the open house, and about speaking about the house. And for some reason, then that just let me, like, took the stress of that off. And it was really about just trying to build our relationship with the person when they walked in the door, not trying to sell them the house, not thinking about selling them, trying to connect with them. I'd always try to, like, I would do open houses with, I worked with a lady a year in, and I would do some open houses with her, and she was really great at connecting with people. And so I learned from her that, like, I would have to try to figure out something that I could connect with them on, that we had something in common by talking with them. And then once you figured that out with someone when they walked in, it was more about honestly trying to build a relationship, be a friend to them, and try to get them to like me as a person than trying to get them to want to buy a house from me first. It was just trying to build that relationship. So,
Was there a set of questions that you developed and then taught?
no, I would just look at, like, someone walk in and they'd have, like, um, if they had a Viking shirt on, we'd start talking about football, like, just kind of paying attention to them. She was really good with kids. So I always learned that, like, pay attention to the kids when people walk in with kids, be nice to the kids, pay attention to the kids. Parents like it if you take interest in their children.
That works on me, right? If my kids like you, I'm going to pay attention.
Exactly, exactly. So no, I didn't have I don't, like, I've never been like a script person or having a set of questions. It was just kind of, you know, trying to build a relationship with that person when they walked in.
All right. So back to the journey, 10, 15 transactions. When did you decide to bring on your first team member and who was it?
Well, my husband already had the team when we met. So I kind of, like, I was on my own, and then we started living together, and we're like, well, we'll work together. And he had like 4 or 5 agents on the team, and a assistant. And he had a big team because he did a lot of new construction. So models, and he needed people to list in the models.
Got it. And so, what did that evolve into? Because the part I'm most fascinated by, you're almost 500 units a year. I mean, like, really top of the heat nationally. But you teach that more than 75% of your business should come from repeat and referral. So again, most agents of your production, and yes, I'm picking on you if you're listening, it's like 70% buyers, and most of them come with a success fee attached to it. So one of the top 4 portals in the country take a substantial piece of that. And which again, when I coach them personally, I tell them that that's a form of a treadmill, right? And I don't say you shouldn't start there, but you should only start there with the goal of building a past client database of people who like and trust you and that you actively stay in touch with. And then you should be able to move on from those types of sources.
Yes, absolutely. That's what we teach our team. Um, so our big thing was when we were growing our business, we like love to have fun. We love people. Both Daniel and I love people. And so when we closed a transaction, we started originally we would just ask them, we'd invite them out to dinner. So we'd start doing dinners, and it was just a really like fun way to end a transaction, get to know people deeper. When you're with buyers, like when we were with buyers, it's like I'd always tell them, like, my goal is to look out. Like, I'd always tell my goal is to walk into a house with you, and you're going to look at the stuff that you love and all the fun, shiny stuff. And I'm going to look for the stuff that is going to cost you money down the road and the stuff that we need to be aware of. And that's my job. But my other job is that we have fun. And like, it was always, I kind of, I think I think it's sad for agents now, because when I got into the business, the market was easier. There was more availability. So you'd pick someone up in the morning and go look at 5, 6, 7 homes that day, and you'd get to pick them up and they'd be in your car, and you'd get to really build a relationship with them, because that was kind of like what the market was like right now. Right now, you're just meeting someone at one house to show it to them quick because that's all that's available. But back then you'd spend the whole day with people. We'd always stop for lunch. I'd always make sure like we stopped for lunch and that I fed them and we had fun, and I had snacks with us, and the kids came along. It was fun for them. So it was really just about building those relationships. So we would start doing dinners, celebratory dinners, and then that morphed into we started offering people housewarming parties. So if they bought a house, we would say we'd offer them, we'd love to throw you a housewarming party. And Daniel and I, in the beginning, we would like literally show up with, we'd cater it, we'd bring all the drinks, and we'd spend the whole night at their house serving them food, and Daniel would bartend, and we'd get to meet all their friends and family, and it was tons of fun. And we built awesome relationships.
So you said a bunch of amazing stuff there, which, by the way, my wife and I did on our team. But how do you scale it? How do you systematize it? How do you not have it be personality driven?
We try to teach, like, I tell an agent when they join my team, I again, we have Zillow. We have a little Zillow. We have a little of those like leads that we pay for. And I say, I understand that, when you start, that's a great way to get your business going. If you don't have a big SOI, or you don't have friends and family, or you don't know a lot of people, great way to start getting your business going, like you said. But my goal is that, gosh, 2 or 3 years, they're getting repeat and referral business. In 5 years, that they are not touching a Zillow lead or a paid lead. Like, their business has come from repeat and referral. And I feel like if that's not the case, I've failed in kind of training them and teaching them how to be a good realtor. So um, we do a lot of training on how do you go above and beyond in the transaction. We have a whole party system, actually. So we've put together like a party program where our marketing staff will do all the stuff to get the party ready for them. We send out the invites. It's like plug and play for the agent. They just have to show up at the party and coordinate, ask their clients if they want to have a party, and then show up at the party. But our staff does everything, and then they do have to contribute financially for the party. But we have everything set up. We have a whole process set up for them to do that. We have a whole gifting program set up for them, so they can go on it. We have a website where they can go online. If it's their client's birthday, they can send them a gift. It's like and it's all stuff that we've curated. So it's like local vendors, and we have like wellness. We have like a get well soon box. We have birthday boxes. We have like stock the bar boxes. Like, we have all these different kind of gifts that they can pick from. We have like new babies. So if they see that their client just had a baby on Facebook and they want to send them something, we have like a new baby gift box that they can send them, and the staff takes care of that for them. They just have to log on, pick out what they want, pay for it, check out, and then the staff takes care of sending all that stuff out for them. So we're always trying to think of ways that like we can make that loving on their clients easier for them so they don't have to think about it. So when they're with them, they're focusing on what they need to do, but the loving on them and all that stuff is going to kind of being taken care of, because it's a lot to think about when you're in a transaction.
So, Julie, I think so many agents get lost in hype and headlines. So much of our industry is dominated of like the portals and these websites and these businesses that have like inserted themselves in the industry. And I always go back to data. I'm a data obsessed human being. If you go to 2024 seller driven statistics, and by the way, this slide I saw the Buffinis present. They invited me to a live event they had in San Diego just a couple months ago. I spoke at Inman and they were at the hotel next door, and I popped in and hung out with Brian and Dermot. But it was such a reminder. It said that 66% of seller leads in seller transactions, not leads, transactions in 2024 came from your sphere of influence and past customers. 66%. 66%. And only 9 came from a portal that had a success fee attached to it. And so my number one question to people, it's like, cool, what does your business look like? Right? Because statistically, I see, and it's not I feel or I think, I see a disproportionate amount of time, energy, and effort put in the 9% bucket versus the 66 bucket. And the 66 bucket is actually accidental. It's like they tripped in and still did that much business from that bucket. And so like my constant ask and drive and begging sometimes is, how do you operationalize that, right? So you just dropped some crazy good nuggets of like, you've curated local stuff, right? Like as human beings, like Julie, did you get a handwritten note from me this year for Real Trends? Yes, it was sent to your office. But so did everybody else on the Real Trends list, right? I've had 2 calls this week with people at other companies who said, "Hey, I'm between you and another company. My friends are all at that other company, but I had to talk to you because you sent me a handwritten note. I don't know you. I consume your content on the internet, but it wasn't the fact that you pop up into my Instagram, my Facebook, and everywhere else. It's the fact that," and they'll like literally go like this. It's like, this thing's been sitting on my desk and it's living rent free in my head. And a lot of times it's like, well, what are my excuses? Because you run a pretty big business and you still find time to do that, right? So as an agent, it turned into, there was 10 or 20 people that were responsible for the majority of my business. And they happen to be builders, developers, and investors. But it was no different. We took them to dinner. They were invited to our wedding. We vacationed together. They became real friends. And sometimes they even joke. They're like, so-and-so just called me and said why they're a better agent than you, why we should have lunch. And I threw it in the trash, right? Because there was a real level of relationship. But what I want you to unpack is, how did you start operationalizing that process? Because I always go back to, like, for me, 1,000 people, the top 1,000 get a handwritten note from me. Clearly, everyone's not aware that it's a robot using a pen, but it's the fact that we make sure it happens. And by the way, it does have my actual cell phone and it has my actual email. If you pull up that note, it's got my real contact information. And I bet you I get 10 emails every time going, I just wanted to see if it was really you, right? And so how did you start? Obviously, staff, curated, like website, delivery. You just said a whole bunch of things that I know the complexity it requires. But how do people go 0 to 1? If someone's listening and they're on that lead treadmill, as I like to call it, what's step 1? Like, how do you get them to go on the journey that Julie and Daniel seem to have perfected?
Yeah, well, I mean, I always think, so step 1, you're on your own. It's just you're with your clients. I mean, how are you optimizing your time with your clients? I think a lot of agents are like, I want to hire a buyer's agent. And I'm like, no, you do not hire a buyer's agent first. You should be with your clients. Hire admin, take care of the paperwork, take care of the back stuff. Then hire someone to love on your clients, like to help you love on your clients. Like I would do those 2 things, an admin and a marketing person, before I did a buyer's agent. Because again, I think people really underestimate like the power of you the most important thing is for you being in front of those people, you building the relationship with them, you spending time with them. So don't like get busy and be like, I'm going to hire a buyer's agent first. And then all my buyers are going to be, I'm not going to be building relationships, and they're going to be building relationships with someone else. So yeah, hiring the staff to take care of those people, for like to help you take care of those people. And then, yeah, you get to the point where you have too many buyers and you can't handle it. Great. Hire a buyer's agent. But, um, having the staff and then putting the systems in place. We just did a really good job as we grew of putting systems in place, to help us. So whether it was like administrative systems on the back end, we've dealt with this issue 2 times. Now we're going to come up with a system for it. So my assistant can help us deal with it. So she knows what to do or how to handle it when it happens. To We would do all of our marketing systems, like all of our agents right now, they can opt in, to all these marketing programs. And then there's all these programs that we do for them that are included. So like newsletters are sent out for them. They're specialized to that agent on.
Yeah. Let's pause right there. Right. Again, you're dropping so much stuff and you're just kind of glossing over it. So, no. It's that's because it's automatic for you. So the gold you just said, and I rant about this. So you're speaking my love language. I think most agents that claim our teams are social clubs. Like, and I rant about this. I think some of the most interesting businesses at EXP are actually our highest producing. So like number one is actually Minnesota, Artemisia. I'm sure you've met her at an event, right? Teams are a leadership journey that some either don't want, aren't interested in, because then you like the second you decide to be a team leader, you're actually making a commitment to these people's lives. And so I'm with you. I said that the salesperson should be the person you hire when you've officially ran out of time. And before you run out of time, you should outsource all things that aren't dollar productive, right? Like there is nothing more productive than you being in front of a buyer or seller, because it's what produces revenue. So I wholeheartedly want to make sure everyone heard what you said, because you said it quickly and moved on. Like you should be at appointments, 6-7 hours a day. And when and I because people say, when do you hire your first agent? I said, when you're actually throwing deals away. And I even go a step further, like, because I think this listing is 10 times more important. Like before you even, for some people, before you even set up a situation where you're going to hire one, I would say first find a Zillow Flex team near you who is comfortable already paying you a large split and knows how to follow up on leads, right? And I would encourage that even before hiring a first buyer's agent, right? Because I would encourage all of you to become phenomenal listing agents, because once you have a stable amount of listings, 10, 15, 20, you then have enough organic business to feed buyer's agents, and then it's a good time to bring on buyer's agents, right? Because if not, then you're on this treadmill finding more leads and finding more leads and finding more leads. Where if you prioritize a listing and you have a good amount of your own listings that you could host your open houses, right? Then this like perfect flywheel, which is what it sounds exactly what you've done there, comes about.
Yeah, and being able to spend time in your listing, like with your listings and on your listings. I am just like sometimes amazed at what an agent does with a listing. They throw it up on the MLS and that's it. Like they don't
Well,
look at themselves
the
as a
thing, you
marketer.
said something, that's where I paused you. The newsletter. I think most of us don't use ourselves as a sample size of one. And so the lens I look at anything is, would it work on me? Would it work on me? And the amount of times that like people send that out, I'm like, first of all, like it's got 3 generic sentences that everyone knows it's not you. And then at the bottom, like the disclaimer of like, if not intended for you, please delete this communication, is longer than what's supposed to be the message. How do you make that feel specific?
Yeah, so our marketing person does them all. We don't like subscribe to some, like company that makes them for you. They're very specific. Like we'll show some listing, like it'll be maybe we feature a listing. We do some local TV shows. So we're on a local TV show 3 times a month. So we'll feature the actual segments and stuff that get sent out in those. And then if the agents want those on theirs, they can do that. But we'll feature the agent's own listings on them. We will like find businesses that we're partnered with and feature them. Like, it's not just picking a random business. It's like a restaurant that we love, that our clients know that we love, that we've taken them there, and then we're featuring it. So they're really personalized to the team. And then we personalize them even farther to the agent when we're sending them out for the agents on the team. So people are excited to open them up. They're excited to see them. They're excited to see what restaurant we're recommending. It's not all about real estate, but it is about real estate. We're giving them like really like thoughtful, just not like, ideas and recommendations on what they should be doing.
Does it come with collabs like you're recommending a restaurant and then there's a coupon to redeem because you're working with that restaurant?
Don't do that, but we actually do a coupon book every year at the beginning of the year. It's called Our Favorite Things of that year, and it's literally collaboration with I think this year ours will go out, it'll have like 20 to 25 businesses in it, and it's a coupon book that gets sent in the mail, and it's a coupon to that business, and so it's like a lot of restaurants that we love, a lot of service businesses, like, all that kind of stuff in there. And yeah, so we send that out actually at the beginning of the year every year. And it's a physical, because again, I don't think enough people get like physical mail anymore. So that is a physical mail piece that they get in the mail. And our team members, it gets sent out for them too, and to all their clients.
And when I talk about mail, because again, going back to like, would it work on you? I have a system that 80% of it doesn't get through the front door. Like I literally grab the mail and I go stand in front of the trash can. I open one of them because I feel mail today is mostly a bill, right? Something like insurance, the county, someone I owe money to, or notification that I paid. And then like the other one is just like every door delivered, one page glossy, like realtor mail, just listed, just sold, or window roofing. Right, I'm in South Florida. Like, do you need a new roof before hurricane season comes? How do you think through that? And obviously, like that's a great opportunity if everything else is noise, right? I did talk to one of our top agents in Virginia, and he acquired the business that he started on, and they've been doing every door direct for like 2 decades, like 100,000 mailers a month. Which again, when you're that consistent and that like he owns multiple percentage points of a county, right? Like it's like, which is again, but it's very strategic, right? So and I'm not saying one's better than the other. It's like what works and what do you do consistently. So how do you think through that? Are you putting yourself, because what I'm imagining is some agent is listening to you, Julie, and is just completely overwhelmed, going, I don't even know where to start. So where do you start with that? With what you just said, it's like, okay, I've been in the business for a couple of years. I have 30 or 40 past customers. Like, if they had to do two things in goal setting for the upcoming year, how would you couch that, and how would you coach that?
If two things, I'd say,
Or three. I just picked out a random number. What, like Julie's rules here? Not don't be limited by a number I threw out. Like, but how would you prioritize activity and behavior to have to be on the road to do what you do?
um, events, and you can like start really small, because I think again, I don't want to overwhelm people, but we also do events throughout the year, and again, getting in front of your clients. So if you have 30 clients, throw a party, have a party at your house. It doesn't have to be fancy. Like, I think
And
people
so
think,
what do you call it? Like again, I'm being this specific because I think people get really bogged down. Like, do you call it like pick a season? Like, do
yeah,
you want to do a holiday party, a spring forward? And again, Minnesota's different weather than mine, right? Like we may celebrate different parts of the year. tell,
wait
tell,
till May to have that spring party.
in May we're sad because the season's over, right? So tell me how you think through that, or how you like going like with the privilege of knowing what you know now. Where how would you say this is how I would do it?
Well, this is like literally the first party we started with was a backyard barbecue. So in the summer, we started with a backyard barbecue, and it was literally just, I don't even know what we called it, backyard barbecue. It was a come over for a barbecue, and invited all of our clients and literally grilled hot dogs and hamburgers. And this is 20 years ago, but it was so simple. Like, went to the store, got some drinks, and people loved it. People actually love being invited over to your house. So I think some people are like, oh, I don't want to have it at my house. I have to like get a fancy place to have it at. No, you can have it in your backyard. You can have a holiday, like right now, this time of the year, great time to have a holiday party. You can have a post-holiday party in January, like, so you're not competing with all the other holiday parties. But just getting in front of them, and like, if you don't have the budget to like take every single person out to eat or do something, doing a big, just doing a party for everybody is a great way to do it. Or we we will do dinner parties sometimes where we think, you know what, these three couples, we think they'll get along, and they're really great, important clients of ours. They don't know each other. We're gonna invite the three couples over to our house, make dinner, and have a nice night.
You said earlier, I was interviewing our number one solo agent who specializes in new construction, and he dropped the nugget that I was like, I've never thought about that. Because he did it on the side with a full-time job in the first couple of years. And when there was a new building, new community, he would actually tell them, by the way, there's going to be buyers at the same time as you for the tour. And it's going to be awesome because you're going to hear the questions they ask and you're all going to learn together. And I was like, he did 10 buyer presentations in 1 hour. Like, I've never thought about that.
We used to do that. Like, Daniel and I have slowed down on the dinners just because it's, we're kind of to the point in our career where we don't have the time, and we're kind of, again, if I needed to generate more business, I would be in a dinner every night. Easiest thing to do. But we used to, we would do those, like, hey, we've got a night off. I always think, like, we've got a night off. We've planned a night. We might as well optimize the night by inviting more people. We had one dinner once where we were going to a place where you had to buy tickets for the evening for the dinner. And it was three guys that had like bought an investment property together, and then we were selling it for them, and we had just sold it. So it was them and their wives, and two of them couldn't make it, ended up not being able to make it. So it was just us and another couple, and we had 4 other tickets. So we were like, hey, invite friends. We told the other couple to invite friends. They invited people we didn't know. Those people have ended up doing multiple transactions with us from the 4 couples that came that we didn't know, multiple transactions, multiple referrals from those couples, just from being like, I think most people would have they invited their friends along or something. We're like, no, this is a great opportunity. Why don't we allow the people that we're going out with to bring?
I love it. Well, closing thoughts. You dropped some gold. I would recommend for anyone listening to that who heard this, listen to it 2 or 3 times. Julie just casually dropped some very, very lucrative suggestions and systems, which, by the way, sound really fun. Right? Like you didn't say it, so I'll say it because I'm not sure you've internalized it. Like, there is no proper way to do this. My suggestion is to find the way that's most congruent with your God-given talents.
Yes.
Right. Like, I think the biggest danger in this industry is you go to an event and you see someone on stage crushing it, and then you go try it, and it's not how God designed you and how you're wired, and then you burn out, and then you're like, this sucks. Right. Mm-hmm. I remember going to a prospecting event and hearing about cold calling strangers, and I was getting anxiety. I was like, I think I'd rather go play in traffic than do that. Right. And so I'm just grateful I didn't quit real estate and found stuff that was congruent with the way I'm wired. So you didn't say that, but I'm saying it because that's what I'm hearing the joy in your business come through loud and clear in the camera.
And I'm with you on the cold calling. Yeah. That was.
I've interviewed cold callers, and there's a young lady from Florida that I on here, and she was so excited. Like, she said, every time the phone picks up, I know that I have an opportunity to help them and save them thousands of dollars and change their family. Like, and she's as passionate about you and I, like you and I are about this subject, because as you can tell, I'm wired like you. Yeah. And again, it's not right or wrong. Like, I just can't do that. But to an introvert, to someone that doesn't that battery goes down in large rooms of people, or get social anxiety, which like my college roommate had to like take anxiety medicine before we did our presentations in college.
Hmm.
What you just described would make one have that personality type jump off a bridge, right? Like you want strangers in my house too, like that's like you just ruined my evening. Why would you even suggest that, right? So I think the biggest takeaway is like figure out how you're wired and then find the model that works for you. But what I would say is applicable for everybody is like find a way where you're not relying on a third party source.
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, because it could go away tomorrow. And if you've built your business on that, and again, yeah, find that thing that you love to do. And I can't imagine, like, I just couldn't imagine waking up every day and doing something that I didn't like have fun with, didn't enjoy doing, didn't love to do. And it's like real estate. I tell my clients, our agents, this a lot. It's your life. It's when you choose to be a realtor, it's not like a 9 to 5 job that go into. It is your life. So pick what you love in it and do it. And it will be so much more enjoyable if you're doing the things that you love when you're doing it. So
Well, that's a perfect way to end. Julie, thank you so much for your time, for sharing all that knowledge, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
thank you. Look forward to seeing you too.